Gopika Jeevana Smaranam. The news of this baby's birth reached Kamsa. Kamsa came running, dashed into the prison cell, caught hold of this baby by its feet. He lifted the child up. Devaki fell at his feet and prayed and said, "This is a girl. This is a girl child. A girl could possibly not do any harm to you. Maybe it was the next one. Something has gone wrong. Already I had sort of a miscarriage. Maybe that was not counted. So this could be the 7th. Maybe the 8th is next now." Because when the one pregnancy was transferred from Devaki to Rohini, it appeared as though Devaki had suffered a miscarriage. So was that counting as the 7th or not as the 7th? What is the whole thing went wrong? Kamsa said, "Forget all maths. I'm killing everyone as they come, doesn't matter. From now on, I'm just killing. This maths is killing me otherwise. He doesn't have to kill me, maths is became confused. ஏற்கனவே மூடான்னு சொல்லி கொடுத்தோம், அபுதா அப்படி. So he lifted that baby up and threw that baby against the wall to dash it to smithereens. This is how he has killed all other babies. When that baby gave him a kick and flew into the air and said, "You fool!" Second time. No, ஒரே ஒரு confirmation தான் பாக்கி. Twice he's already been called a fool. Once that heavenly voice called him a fool. Second time this baby kicks him and says, "You fool." Abdin goes, flies up into the air and stands there in the air with 8 arms arrayed in all of her divine weapons and ornaments. Sakshat Devi, Dashabhujadharini, Durga Devi standing there. And she said, "The one that you are trying to kill has been born elsewhere. Of what avail is this attempt of yours to change your own fate? What are you going to gain by killing me? What are you going to gain by killing the innocent people? Beware that the one that is going to kill you is somewhere else. He's been born and he's elsewhere." Abdin actually gave a cryptic clue and disappeared. On seeing this, Kamsa was shaken. And he thought to himself, the whole thing was a conspiracy. The Devas played such a big trick and I fell for it and I killed my own nephews with my own hands. He turned towards Devaki and Vasudeva and fell at their feet and said, "Forgive me. I was taken up by the trick. Look, finally the child is somewhere else, not even here. Not even your child. Looks like it's some other child. I have been misled and I have killed your children. Please forgive me." But at the same time, let me tell you all, Atma is eternal. It is only the bodies that die. Adanala don't grieve. Wise people do not grieve over such things. Although your children died, it is only the body that died. Atma is real. So don't worry. Now I have to go and find out who is the fellow who wants to kill me and take care of him. So I have got work to do. I will see you later. Even body matra real. His body alone seems to be real. All other bodies are unreal. If the bodies die, it's fine. His body should not die. And you will do like a hypocrite. He quoted the scriptures and went away. He released Vasudeva and Devaki. He was very disturbed. He went and had a meeting with all his ministers and friends. All the real ones have left. The good people of Mathura have all left after seeing his atrocities. Only demons were surrounding him. Rakshasas, Asuras alone were there near. So they all said, "Look, whatever the case may be, we've got to be on our guard. Just to be sure, we will do one thing. We will go and kill all the newborn babies around the countryside. So that we don't have any, don't leave anything to chance." So they decided amongst themselves who is the best person to do this. There was the only female in the team. He was trying to bring some gender equality, equal opportunities, employer. Women should have a representation. Only one woman though could come up to that level. Such wickedness only one woman was willing to do. Yaruna Putana anu per avalukku. Putana Balaghatini abdinu she was known for, avalukku innor per appellation. Putana the child killer. Putana Balaghatini. Putana the child killer. And she generally go and kill children. அவளுக்கு குழந்தை பிறக்கலையோ என்னவோ தெரியாது. Maybe she didn't never had any children of her own. She was jealous of other children, other mothers having children. She would go kill children. So she was interested in this task. She said, oh, with delight. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கிளம்பிட்டா. கரும்பு தின்ன கூலியா அப்படின்னு கிளம்பிட்டா. Meantime, here, day, the day dawned in Gokula. இதெல்லாம் நைட்டில் ஆயிருக்கு. விரஜால கோகுலத்தில் the morning dawned bringing great cheer, great joy. After a long wait, Yashoda and Nandagopa had been married for many years but had no children. Finally, they were having a child. And the whole of Vraja was celebrating. All the people of Vrajabhumi were happy and excited. Our chieftain has a son. Who said son? We don't even know what is the gender. Must be a son. The news spread throughout the village that the baby has been born. Adanal everybody packed up from their homes and were coming to visit Nandagopa's house, bearing gifts. People had dressed themselves in their best outfits, ladies decking themselves in their brilliant jewelry, carrying all kinds of auspicious items in their hand like milk, curds, butter, turmeric, oil and other presents for the newborn baby. All made their way to Nandagopa's house to congratulate this child and feast their eyes upon this newborn. A joyous spirit seemed to seize the entire village. Everybody was happy. They did not know why they were so happy. Nandagopan koyandadane pirandirukku. This is not the first child that has been born in this village. Why are we so happy? They are not able to say. But everybody is happy. Appadi oru santosham. They are all rushing to see this child. Partha and the koyanda paduthundirukku. The child is lying next to Yashoda. The very news of his birth gave so much joy. Walking to the house gave so much joy. Seeing that child, how much joy should that have not produced in them? Anandam. Not knowing what to do in that joy, they threw things upon each other. Butter and curds they threw upon each other. Oil and turmeric they threw upon each other. Festivity, apdiya santosham, they are smearing it on each other. The entire courtyard of Nandagopa's house became filled with butter and slusham mixed. அப்படியா they ran inside. பார்த்தா அந்த குழந்தை படுத்துட்டு கண்ணங்கரையல்னு ஒரு குழந்தை, dark complexioned child. One of the women said, neither Nanda is so dark nor Yashoda. இது எங்கே இப்படி கறிக்குட்டியா வந்திருக்கே? Why is this one so dark? உடனே old lady said, I know Nanda's grandfather. He was slightly dark. அப்படின்னு கொழுத்தாத்தாவை கொண்டு வந்திருக்கு குழந்தை. Swami told us that Vasudeva was very fair, but Devaki was dark. Devaki was dark in color. That is why Krishna was dark in color. One other lady said, dark or fair, he is charming. I have never seen such beauty in any other child. He is so adorable. Another one said, Chi, don't cast your evil eye on this child. Giving joy to all the women, all the men, everybody, all the men gathered around Nandagopa. We have never seen a child like this before. Nanda, our Vraja is destined for great things. You know what happened today? Every tree in the forest blossomed on its own. Every cow started pouring milk even without going and touching the udders. Great auspiciousness has come to Vraja. It looks as though Mahalakshmi, the goddess of wealth, has taken permanent abode in our Vrajabhumi. Jayati Tedikam Janmana Vraja Shrayata Indira Shashvadatrahi. Looks like Indira, the goddess of wealth, has taken a permanent residence in our Vraja. Abadini alarm Santoshama, they are going and looking at this child. Partha Padathanirukku. Yarana Bala Gopala. Bala Gopala Sai Bala Gopala Devaki Nandana Gopala Bala Gopala Sai Bala Gopala Vasudeva Nandana Gopala Yashoda Nandana Gopala Nanda Gopala Ananda Gopala Sai Gopala Satya Bala Gopalan, the one child with so many parents. Yena Devaki Nandana Gopala, Vasudeva Nandana Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala, Nanda Gopala. Giving joy, what Bhagavan wanted was, I want to give maximum joy to everybody. Everybody has only one set of parents. Why? I will have two sets of parents, so I give double joy to everybody. Surely Bhagavan chose two sets here. Everybody was filled with so much joy, delight, anga, anandam everywhere in Vraja. But external joys only last for a little while. Immediately, clouds shadow. What clouds? Putana was the cloud, she was coming. Nandagopa had to go to Mathura. It was a time for the yearly tribute had to be paid to Kamsa. So therefore he had to go with the tribute. All the men folk gathered together, leaving only a token guarding force. Everybody went to Mathura. And when he went to Mathura, Nandagopa paid a visit to Vasudeva. I heard, so sad, all your children, even a girl child was not spared. And Vasudeva, I'm so sad. Vasudeva said, don't worry about all of that. How is your boy? I heard you had a boy. Nandagopa thought, Vasudevan Patiya. Even though he lost his children, he's still happy for me to have my child. Little did he know this child himself was from Vasudeva only. No, don't. My child is fine. By the way, Sister Rohini's son is also doing very fine. Don't worry, I will look after him. No, I know you will look after him. But in the meantime, be careful. Kamsa is surrounded himself with all kinds of demonic forces. Be careful. You have left Vraja, children are all alone. Better go back quickly. Vasudeva said. But true to that, those words of warning, there in Vraja, Putana had come. She took the form of a very enchanting woman and walked in. Everybody let her come in because everybody thought, what a divine maiden she is. She must have come from the heavens to see our Nandagopa's child. Everybody felt a delusion came into everybody. Whenever she went inside, looked at this child. Oh, what an adorable darling. What a beautiful boy he is. She crooned. Can I hold him in my arms? You're so lucky. There's nothing more required for mothers. You tell them, oh, your child is so beautiful, your child is so clever, your child is so cute, you're so lucky. They feel, hey. As though they are responsible for it. As though they are responsible for it. What did they do? They didn't do anything. Child came on its own. How it came out, until it came out, they also didn't know whether it was cute or brute. After it was born only, it is cute, not a brute. How do you know? What did the mother do? Nothing. It is the past karma of the child, it is coming. With a tailor-made body. In what way are we responsible? Ellam false beliefs. So the mother was very happy. Yashoda, she handed the baby over to Putana. Putana took the child, and even before anybody could do anything, she held the child to the breast to feed the child. Now, Vandava Boravalla, Chakravana, Vaila Puduva, Eladum Pala Gudupa. But she had smeared her breast with poison. The idea was to kill this child. This was her MO. And so she did the same thing. She took this child and placed him at the breast. What does the child do? Bhagavan was lying there with his eyes closed in the Shukar shoulder. Bhagavan didn't even bother to open his eyes. His eyes were still closed. But he latched on to her and sucked her entire life out of her. With a huge scream, painful scream, muncha, muncha, alam, alam, katinalam, Putana. Enough, release, enough, alam, muncha, abdini she shouted. Alam means enough, muncha means release. When Bhagavan heard these words, she gave something to Bhagavan and then she said, alam, muncha. What did she offer to Bhagavan? She offered poison only. But in a way, she offered herself to Bhagavan. Bhagavan took her life. She offered her entire life to Bhagavan. Offering herself to Bhagavan, she told Bhagavan, enough, release. So Bhagavan understood it to be, enough of this world, release me from bondage. So Bhagavan said, Tathastu, done. Bhagavan gave her moksha. Putana died, but she attained moksha. Why did Putana attain moksha? Two reasons. One, she gave something to Bhagavan. She gave herself to Bhagavan. Second, she said, enough, release. Enough, release me. What did she want now? Enough of this pain, release me, let go of me. But how did Bhagavan take it now? Enough, I will release you from this way. Enough of this world, I will release you from this way. This alam buddhi has to come to us. enough buddhi. Varanasi, Subalakshamma asks Ramana Bhagavan once, she was a cook in the kitchen, she came and told Bhagavan, Bhagavane, you keep telling us all the time that we are not the body, we are the Atma, we are not the body, we are the Atma. Puriya Matengarde Bhagavane, we are not able to understand it or we are not able to experience it. Why is this so? Abdin she asked Ramana Bhagavan. Bhagavan's reply was, because you have not had enough of this world. உனக்கு இந்த லோகம் போரும்னு தோணலையே, இந்த லோகம் போரும்னு தோணலையே, you have not had enough of this world, you still want to engage in this world, want more of this world, that is why you are still in this world. So the day we also have had enough, we will also let go. Alam alamnu chonna, enough enoughnu chonna, Putana attained moksha. But she also regained her monstrous demonic form, seeing that everybody was afraid. She ran outside in that pain and crashed outside the outskirts of that little hamlet. Huge mountain-like body, her original form. She had taken a very beautiful form, but that was her original form. At the time of death, her spell wore off and she became a huge hillock. They all came running outside. Yashoda was panic-stricken. Yo, my baby, Abdin, Partal. Where is the child in Bharata? On top of this mountain, the child is playing. As though nothing has happened, the child is playing. Somebody had to run up the mountain to bring the child back. Yashoda was fear-stricken. She held the child close to her heart, to her chest, pale with fear, eyes darting here and there in anxiety. All the other elderly ladies came and pacified her. Don't worry. We have heard such demons come to snatch children away, but Bhagavan is protecting your child. Don't worry. God is looking after your child. After that, in order to ward off all evil and fear from the child, what they did was they bathed the child in water mixed with cow's urine, sprinkled dust walked over by the cows all around the child, and then waved the tail of a cow in front of the child and chanted the many names of Mahavishnu, invoking his presence to protect this child. This is a motherly feeling. When Swami had to go to Africa, Ishwarama was very afraid. And Swami was also very naughty with his mother. He went to Ishwarama and he said to her, I'm going to Africa. And he said, why do you have to go? Don't go there. Diamonds are there on the road in Africa. Do you know? Everywhere on the road, diamonds are there. Ah, really? Bring some then. But do you know there are man-eating cannibals there? They will eat people. Ah, don't go. No, I have to go. Swami walked away. Poor Ishwarama, she was so scared. So she went to Kasturi. She went to Professor Kasturi and she said, I am depending entirely on you. You have to keep my Swami safe. You chant the Gayatri mantra. With the power of your Gayatri, you can protect my Swami. I am depending only on you. Abdin she sent Swami. The sweetness of a mother's love. Yeah? Even though the child is God, but she wants the Gayatri mantra to protect God. Kasturi has to chant the Gayatri to protect Swami. Kasturi doesn't protect Pananu. அங்கே யார் இருப்பாலும் எனக்கே தெரியாது. பாம்பாடி பரோட ஆப்பிரிக்கா பாரு, கேனிமல் இருந்தால் நான் என்ன? Meanwhile, Nandagopal came back, returned, and he saw this huge mountain where there was none before. When we went to Mathura, there was no mountain. Suddenly there is a mountain here in Bharata. It was Putana lying there. Where did she come from? The whole story was narrated. Vasudeva was right. He warned. His warning came true. They had to cremate this body, but it was so huge they couldn't cremate it. So they chopped it into pieces and then cremated the body. But when they cremated the body, fragrance arose from that pyre. Yenna, Bhagavan had suckled from her. The contact, Angasparsham with Bhagavan had happened. Adanala, even the demonic body of Putana was smelling fragrant. Shuka narrates the story. Child was 3 months of age. The turning over ceremony has to happen. Usually when a small baby is, according to textbook, when they turn 3, they will be able to roll over onto their tummies. But that had happened correctly. Adukuru celebration is there. In Vrajabhumi, every opportunity, every excuse was a cause for celebration for them. Today Krishna burped. Good, let us have celebration. And they loved this child. Name had not yet been given. The name Krishna has not yet been given. And this Nanda's child, Yashoda's child, that black darling, that dark darling, Didi. அதனால் at every opportunity they were all coming there. 3 months ஆயிருக்கு குழந்தை நட்சத்திரம் அன்னைக்கு. It was Rohini Nakshatram. And so the ritual bath had been given to the child and Brahmanas had been invited. Yashoda was busy looking after all the guests. Rohini and Yashoda were busy. What she did was, there was a cart outside, a bullock cart outside. Bullock was not the unyoked cart. Pots of curd, butter, etc. were kept on that cart. Under that cart, she would put a little hammock and put the baby in that so that he can sleep there. His head is full, his fill, he will sleep. Now, naturally, she left him. Some boys were there, cowherd boys were there, small boys. She said to all of them, look after the child. Kannu vachikongo. Naturally, she went inside. And as they were busy doing all of the work there, suddenly they heard a resounding crash. They all came rushing out. The cart under which this child had broken to pieces. Pots had come sliding down. There was a big mess everywhere. She came with a scream to pick up the child. Nothing had happened. Child was happy. Child was unhurt. Child was kicking and screaming. But she looked at all the boys and said, what happened? No, we saw with our own eyes, auntie. This baby kicked the cart fell down. But nobody believed. A small baby, tenderfoot baby, would kick the cart fell down. Something else must be going on. Once again, they did all the rites to ward off evil. Nandagopal was convinced it's the Brahmanas who were present there. It's their grace that saved the child. He gave more dakshina to the Brahmanas. Bhagavan Go Brahmana Hitaya Channa. Bhagavan's avatara was in order to make the Brahmanas flourish. How? He chose that occasion when they were there, enacted a drama and led to the understanding that the Brahmanas were responsible for his safety and they got more dakshina and they went away. Yet another occasion, the baby had turned 1. Yashoda was playing with the child outside. She had kept the child on her lap and was outside fondling him. She has work to do, but at the same time she doesn't want to leave the child. Only way is if the child falls asleep. Anala oru paatu paadi koyan thungida chillu. Gopala Krishna Lali, Govinda Krishna Lali, Vrindavana Shyama Lali, Trai Vrindavana Sai Lali, Yashodanandana Lali, Yadukula Tilaka Lali, Nanda Kishora Lali, Ananda Mukunda Lali, Prashanti Nilaya Lali, Parti Vihara Lali, Vrindavana Shyama Lali, Trai Vrindavana Sai Lali, Venna Donga Sai Lali, Venu Gopala Lali, Govardhanodhara Lali, Gopi Manohara Lali, Parthi Gopala Lali, Premavatara Lali, Vrindavana Shyama Lali, Trai Vrindavana Sai Lali, Vrindavana Sai Lali, Vrindavana Sai Lali. She sang a lullaby and made the child go to sleep. Finally, the child fell asleep. And when the child fell asleep, she wanted to lift the child and place him on the ground, on the bed, outside in the courtyard. Because it was a nice warm day, she had kept him there. But suddenly, to her surprise, she felt as though he had become very heavy. So very heavy. With great difficulty, she lifted the child and put him down and said, fellow must be eating too much. She walked inside. But then what had happened? Another demon called Trinavarta. He was also on a mission from Kamsa. Because what had happened, Kamsa had sent Putana soon after the baby's birth. Putana went and didn't come back. No news of Putana. Enna achi Putana nu theriyala. So then he thought something has happened. She was last seen going in the direction. Trinavarta, go and find out what has happened. She sent Trinavarta. Now Trinavarta was a demon who could take the form of a tornado. Like a whirlwind he came. And when he came, rushed into this Gokulam, into Vrajabhumi, all of a sudden the whole area became dark because dust. There was big dust storm. Everywhere this dust was swirling around. People were running in helter and skelter. Appa Bharata, Yashoda, who had just gone inside, heard this storm and came running out to pick up the child. But before she could come, the child had disappeared. Trinavarta, the demon in the form of this whirlwind, had come and carried the baby and taken him away. He flew high into the sky because his aim was to go and drop the child from there and kill it. I don't know, when he flew high, the child woke up by this time. As though he was sleeping, he woke up. And what did he do? Very excited, he's going out somewhere, jaliya. He clambered on to the... Trinavarta was holding him in his hand. Children, very dangerous with little babies. When you're holding them, they seem to be climbing all over the place, arching their back. Be very careful. Adala, what did the child do? Quickly, he climbed up onto Trinavarta, went to his neck and caught hold of his neck tightly. Hugged his neck tightly. So tightly that he could not even breathe. He could not even breathe. In the end, he suffocated, he died, and he came crashing down. Instead of throwing the baby down, he came crashing down. The baby made sure that he landed on the demon, Trinavarta. Yashoda was crying in panic, where is my child, where is my child? Bharata, some huge shadows coming from door. Everybody is searching for Krishna, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? Bharata, there's a big shadow, and the shadow is increasing in size. Bharata, a huge form is falling down. They all ran away, it fell down in the middle of the village. And on top of it was Nanda's dark darling. They went and got hold of him once again, did all the pujas and rites and everything that has to be done in Chucho. Something is happening to the child, something happening to the child. Traditionally, a child is named 11 days after birth. Anal, so many different incidents kept on happening that they kept postponing this naming ceremony because there is a belief in villages and so on in India that if parents have had a number of miscarriages or early childhood deaths and so on, then they will not name the child until the child is of a certain age, as though to protect the child from all the evil forces that are looking out to destroy or hurt the child. So they will not give a name to the child. Proper name won't be given. So almost 1 year had elapsed. Trinavarta's history also finished. 1 year had elapsed. No name had been given to both the children. Rohini's child as well as Yashoda's child, both had been unnamed so far. Yado baby kuptala. Kuti, baby, chuti, beauty, yado peru kutta. No real name had been given, so this was weighing on Nanda's mind also. Samskaras have to be done, name, Namakaranam has to be done. As he was thinking, suddenly Garga Muni arrived in that place. Garga Maharshi came there. Garga was the family priest of Vasudeva. And Vasudeva had gone and approached him and said, you know by your own divine insight, our children are growing up there. They have not yet been named. Can you please go and name those children? Don't tell anybody I have sent you. Kamsa will become suspicious. So go and name the children. So Garga had come. When Garga came, Nanda approached Garga. Oh, my great good fortune, a Brahmana like you has come. Brahmanam Nitharam Guruhu. By virtue of being a Brahmana, you are like a guru to us. We have 2 children to be named. Can you please name them? Garga marveled at Bhagavan's Leela. He had come there for that specific purpose. Nanda himself came and requested Garga to name the child. He said, no problem, I will name. But let us do it very carefully, confidentially. Others should not know. Otherwise, Kamsa will become suspicious. He said, no problem, we will do it in the cow shed. No one will be there, only the cows will be there. I will be there, Rohini, Yashoda, the 2 children. Nobody else needs to know. Name the child. Cherin one there. Children were all bathed and dressed nicely. They were both sitting there, 1-year-old children. They were. The Garga Muni came in, was escorted inside. Looked at this child. Partaraha. And the child, who is this child? Bahuni santi namani rupani cha sutasyate gunakarmanu rupani tanyaham vedano janaha. Nanda, this child has got so many names. Which name shall I keep? He has had so many names, not only now, in every yuga he has been born and every yuga he has had a different name. But because that child is elder, we will name him first. Rohini's child was elder by a few days or months. Very difference. So we will name him first. Or his name will be Sankarshana. He will bring everybody together, therefore he is called Sankarshana. But Sankarshana also means transferred, attracted and moved. He doesn't give that reason. He says we will unite everybody, so Sankarshana. He will be very attractive to everybody, so he will be called Rama. He gave the name Rama. Rama was by then a very popular name. Parashurama was there, Kodandarama was there, Rama. But also because he will be very strong, we will call him Balarama, strong Rama. So Balarama, Sankarshana, names were given to the elder child. By looking at the small child, he said, what name can I give him? So many names he has got. In every yuga he has appeared. There was one time when he is like Narayana himself. Adanal we can call him Narayana. In one birth he was Vasudeva's son. He was Vasudeva's son. So one other name we can give him is Vasudeva. அப்படிலாம் பல பெயர்கள் கொடுத்தார். எந்த பெயர் கொடுக்கிறதுன்னா மதுசூதனா ஹரே மாதவா ஸ்ரீ வாசுதேவா ஜனார்தனா श्रीवासुदेवा जनार्दना हरिकेशवा नारायणा श्रीहरिगोविन्द मनमोहना जनार्दना जगत्पालना दीनावना दुःखभञ्जना अरविन्दलोचनानन्दना Shri Vasudeva Janardana. You pick. Which one do you want? You pick. So many names he has got. Bahuni Santi Namani. Yashoda was looking at all these names. Madhusudana. Or her name, she was not happy. She said, what kind of names are these? Nuru Chonnar avari irukku. Nu nariya pergal irukku. Enna perana? Vishwam, Vishnu, Vashatkaraha, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Bhutatma, Bhutatma, Paramatma. 1,000 names he has got. Yashoda பயந்து போனா பூதத்துக்கு பேர் வைக்கிறாரா குழந்தைக்கு பேர் வைக்கிறாரா பூதம் பூதம்ங்கறாரு பூதாத்மா பூதாத்மா பரமாத்மா. Why don't you give a name that is sweet? A name that is sweet, something that can go in the ear அப்படினா காதுல போற மாதிரி வைங்கோ அப்படினா என்ன பின்ன வைக்க முடியும் அப்படினா காதுல போற மாதிரி பின்னு தான் வைக்க. Give a name that is sweet to say அப்படின உடனே all these names are there but அப்படினு சொல்லி ஒரு name, a name like that has not been seen ever because it is so sweet. He said this child is a bit dark in color. அதான் தெரியறதே அப்புறம் என்ன அதே சொல்லி சொல்லி காமிக்கிறேன் கொஞ்சம் கலர் குழந்தைக்கு அதுக்காக என்ன இப்படி. Because he is slightly dark in complexion, I will call him Krishna anu சொன்னா. Because he will attract everybody, I will call him Krishna anu சொன்னா. ஆகர்ஷணம் பண்ணக்கூடிய சக்தி இருக்கிறதுனால இவனுக்கு கிருஷ்ண நாமம். Bhagavan got that beautiful name Krishna. Krishna means Paramatma. Krishna, according to the Upanishad, means Sat Chit Anandam. Satchidananda Swarupam than Krishna. அதனால ஆனா இன்னைக்கும் sweetest name, Bhagavan's all names are sweet தான் இருந்தாலும் this no name can equal this Krishna நாமம். அதை சொல்றச்சே ஒரு அந்த இஷ் சப்தம் is so comforting. இல்லையா? That ish சப்தம் in Krishna is so comforting. Krishna அப்படியே we feel சாந்தம் then and there. ஏன்னா சாந்தத்துக்கும் ஷதானே வருது, கிருஷ்ணனுக்கும் ஷாதானே வருது. கிருஷ்ண சாந்தமாக இருக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு நாமம் கிருஷ்ண நாமம். The boys Rama and Krishna, now they have been named, they grew up steadily, they reached the stage of crawling on all fours. And very clever fellows. What they would do, they will not crawl everywhere unnecessarily. What they will do, they will catch hold of the tails of the calves. And then goes, and the calves will drag them and go, they will go dragging along with them. Along the muddy grounds of Raja, they will be dragged along by the calves. They would crawl fearlessly between the legs of the cows and the bulls, giving great anxiety to the mothers. If they were restricted inside the house, you fellows are dangerous, you go outside and go between the legs of calves, usually put them inside the house, they will correctly get knives, play with fire. Big water pot, they will try to go and move it. The mothers could do no other work but constantly run behind. Adiliyume, it became very clear. Very soon it became very clear. Ennadunna, Rama, the elder one, was the sober one. Chamathuna Ramandanna. Innunnu enna na paduvashama mamat. The other one was the most mischievous one. Mischief incarnate. Premavataram nu sonna, adu Vashamavatarama peduthu. அவனை பற்றி எத்தனை பாட்டு பாடியிருக்கா இல்லையா? The number of songs that they have sung about Krishna's Vashamam, Krishna's mischief are endless. பொல்லாத விஷமக்கார கண்ணன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அவனை. Naughty, wicked, naughty fellow-னு சொன்னா. பொல்லாத fellow. Bhaktas have had the greatest joy because up until Krishna Avataram, people could only praise the Lord. They couldn't do anything other than praise the Lord because, Narasimha, you can't tease him. You cannot afford to tease him. You cannot scold him, tease him, do any of those things because Bhatale Uruna Bayam Vadakku. Rama Avataramla Bhagavan was so upright that when you go into his presence, you also become very sober. Krishna Avataram dan Bhagavan gave a free rein to all the bhavas that people can have in their heart. Rama Avataram bhavas were restricted. You can only have so many bhavas. You can treat him as the master. You can treat him as the Lord. Ippadiyatham bhavas you can have. And Krishna Avataratala, all the bhavas you can relate to Krishna in any way you want, and it will be appropriate for Krishna, not for any other avatar. Not so for Rama and all. Krishna nukutha ellam applicable. Adanala, the ladies of Raja all came in a big body to complain to Yashoda on several occasions. Yashode, you may be the chieftain's wife. And your child born late in your life may be the apple of your eye, but he is such a nuisance to all of us. Troubles us so much. Yashodha, she bristled. He's naughty, I give you that, I grant you that. But calling him a nuisance, you have no sense. How can you call my child a nuisance? We are not saying things baselessly. They had added a big litany of complaints. Vatsal mulchal kvachida samaye krosha sanjata hasaha steyam swadatti atadadipayaha kalpitaihi steya yogaihi markal bokshal vibhajati sachen nati bhandam bhinatti dravyalabe sagraha kupito yati upakrosha tokan. They started the list of all the things that he did. Enna panna Vatsan munchan kvachida samaye. He will come to us when we are milking the cows. To milk the calves have to be tied across from the cow so that looking at the calf, the mother will start giving milk. The milk will be collected by us. After the milking has been done, they will still leave some milk for the calf to have at the right time. The calves have to be untied so the calves can go and drink the milk, but not before the milk has been fully collected properly. We were milking the cow as usual when your darling came there. And he came there and looked at it and said, Auntie, what are you doing? I'm milking the cow. I'm milking the cow. Why is the calf tied there? Calf is tied there because otherwise calf will drink all the milk, and after we have milked, we will release the calf. Can I release? Can I release? Can I release? Sure. When I tell you, all you have to do is pull this rope, calf will be free, it will come. Sure. And then she started nicely. She's milking about 3/4 has been filled up in the milk pot, big milk pot. Huge cows they are. Perum Kashukar. Big cows there are, gir cows big cows were there, they give a lot of milk. They were milking, 3/4 of the pot is already filled. When what did he do? He untied the calf came bounding towards the mother, knocked me off my stool, knocked all the milk that I have painstakingly collected, and everything went to a waste. Vatsan munchan kochid asamaye. Why did you do this, Krishna? When we asked him, he said, I untied it at the right time. I told you to untie it at the right time. Why did you do it now? This is the right time. When is it the right time? When Bhagavan encounters somebody in bondage, that is the right time to untie them and make them free. அப்படின்னு Bhagavan untied the calf went and drank the milk. When you scold him, what does he do? He laughs and runs away. Doesn't take anything seriously, he just laughs and runs away. Sorry, and even in the tone of his voice, you know he's not at all sorry. Sorry. Another one added her list. Steyam swadatti atadadipayaha kalpitaihi steya yogai. He comes and steals all our butter and curds. No matter where we hide them, he finds them. In fact, we keep finding newer and newer places to hide it, so much so that we ourselves forget where we have kept it. Usual spots ellaam marandu poi. In the end, when I wanted to get some curd out for lunch, I was searching all over every place trying to find out where the curd was. Your fellow came there. Auntie, what are you searching for? I hid the curd from you so that you will not find out, but I forgot where I hid it. I am searching for the curds. Is that all? I will tell you where you hid it. Come. He takes me to the corner where I had hid it. And when I go there, I find only an empty pot. I found it and ate it in a short time. So he is coming to her house and stealing butter. Yashoda became angry. Are you accusing my Krishna of being a thief? Mischief is one thing, but you're saying he's a thief. Yes, he is a thief. Not only that, even if we hide it in the darkest of rooms, you have put so many jewels on him, he's like a walking torchlight. When he comes in, all the radiance, he's able to find everything and eat it. Urtichanna, we even tried hanging the pots of butter high up on the roof. From the rafters, we hang it. Then what does your boy do? He gets all his friends together. Yaar friends, Iva children are friends. He's brainwashed all our children. All of them come together. They pile the furniture one over the other and climb up, or they form a human pyramid. He climbs on top. And then always he manages to get the butter. So many times, every Saptaham I tell these stories. Every Saptaham we hear it and we laugh as though we've never heard it before. Yeah. Bhagavan, one day, what had happened, he had got all the boys together, climbed up to reach for the pot of butter. Because he had searched everywhere for the butter, there was no butter that day. Where did the butter go? He looked. The butter was hanging from the pot up. He said, oh, these people have become very inventive. Doesn't matter, we will get it. Eventually, he got all the boys, made a human pyramid and climbed up and caught hold of the pot. Just as he was doing it, suddenly the lady of the house came in. So the moment she came in, all the boys took to their heels, leaving Krishna hanging from the pot. He didn't want to waste the opportunity. Resourceful fellow. Anyway, I'm hanging. Anyway, there's a pot of butter. So why lament and complain about others not being there? And Jolly good and Jolly. He started eating. Lady came and she saw this fellow hanging. What are you doing there? Didn't get up. Why did you come here? What are you doing there? This fellow said, I was walking along when I thought this was our house and I entered into it. Houses all look the same. Your door was open. I thought it was my house. I came. Then did you not find out it was not your house? When you came in, you understood it was my house. No. Yeah, I found out. Not you. Then why did you continue to stay here? No. He said, in our house, a small white calf was lost. So I came searching for that. I thought maybe the calf is inside your house. Then why are you hanging from the pot above there? As I was searching, I couldn't find the calf anywhere here, but I saw something white poking out of the pot. So I thought maybe the calf is inside the pot, and only I climbed up to see if the calf is inside the pot. This lady, after some time she couldn't hold it, she started laughing. But still trying to control her laughter, hands on her hips, she says, "Oi, has anybody ever heard of a calf getting into a pot that is hanging from the roof?" But this fellow said, "Mami, you know that, I know that, but how do we know the calf knows it?" Maybe the calf is in the pot. So she was also trying to be patient. Okay, Anyway, after you looked into the pot, you knew that there was no calf inside it. Yes or no? Yes, there's no calf inside it. Then what is all the white stuff around your mouth? To make sure the calf was not there, I put my hand into the pot to find out if the calf was anywhere. The calf was not there. When I took my hand out, my hand was covered in such tasty butter, auntie. I didn't want to waste it. I did not want to waste it. Why waste your butter? Like this fellow came and stole. Another lady said, at least in that house he stole butter. In my house he came and broke the whole pot. Nati bandham binati. He didn't eat. He broke the pot. Nati bandham binati na. Yashoda looked and said, why did you break the pot in their house? Bhagavan said, avat butter. Nati bandham binati. In Sanskrit, na ati means did not eat. Not eat. But if you bring it together in Tamil, what does it mean? Na ati, it is smelling bad in Artham. He said, her butter is rancid, old butter, rancid butter. And because of the pot, I thought if I break the pot, she will get a new pot, at least fresh butter will be there. Na ati bandham binati. Markan, Bokshan, and what else does he do? He finds cats or he finds monkeys and feeds the butter to them also. One monkey There was one particular monkey that was running around Krishna all the time, and what did it get for running around with Krishna? Whenever he stole butter, he would give some butter to that monkey also. In the monkey, where are? We know only one monkey associated with this fellow. His role model, his inspiration, and the monkey. சின்ன வயசுலேருந்தே பழகினதுனால தான் அவர் மாதிரியே இருக்கு வரும் சேஷ்டைகள்லாம் அப்படியே இருக்கு. He said, that pot was so stinky, she's so stingy, she doesn't want to spend money on the pots. That's why I broke it now. All the other gopis also laughed because they know about her stinginess. I think correct da. Yashoda tried hard to conceal a smile, but she couldn't. Hey Krishna, look, you're all unnecessarily accusing my Krishna of being a thief. The ladies, whatever. From now on, you better keep your Krishna in your house. We've had enough of mopping up the mess he leaves behind, not to mention the loss we suffer to our livelihood with all the butter and the curds he spills or consumes and the pots that he breaks. Enough. You keep your Krishna in your own house. And Krishna said, okay, if that is the way you all feel, I will not come to your house. They were not convinced. This fellow will come anyway. They came home. Pata, 1 whole week went by. The fellow did not go. He kept true to his word. He did not go to anybody's house. After 1 week, all the ladies came back again. Big line. Same ladies came. Yashoda looked at all of them. Now what? Now what? Why have you all come now? The poor fellow has not left the house. He's been moping around inside the house. He could not have done anything. Now what have you come to complain about? What can we say? In a moment of foolish anger, we forbade him from coming into our houses, but the past week has been a torture for us. We cannot live without seeing our darling Krishna. The houses seem empty and forlorn without the sound of his ankle bells tinkling as he runs in. Without listening to his merry laughter, our lives feel dreary, devoid of any cheer. We were wrong, so wrong. Can you please make him come to our houses again? Apadan, this fellow came from inside. He knows. He's waiting for the opportune moment. Now he comes out. And standing there looking at all the women, he puts his hands on his hips and says, now what? Now what do they say I have done? Tears streaming down her cheeks, the gopi said, Krishna, darling Krishna, why don't you come to my house? I have fresh butter for you. I know you like it very much. Why should I come to your house for butter? My mother's butter is much better. She makes better butter than your bitter butter. I will stay here and eat what my mother gives me. No, Krishna, please come. We will never ever accuse you of stealing again. Come to our house. No, I won't come. I promised Amma I will not come. They all started to cry. Hey Nandalala, hey Vrajabala, Makan Chora, Yashoda ke bala. वृंदावन के गोकुल बाला दया करो हे Sai Nandalala, Makan Chora, Yashoda ke bala. Makan Chora, Yashoda ke bala. Hey Nandalala, hey Nandalala, Daya karo, have mercy upon us. Please come to our houses. Do not stay away from us. Yashode, O queen amongst women, convince your son, won't you? We do not know what magic he weaves, hardly taller than our waist, yet he looms so large in our lives. Our eyes are fixed in a wide open stare, looking at the open doorway, waiting for him to come, hoping that he would come. Our ears are aching with the constant strain of listening for his footsteps. We cannot endure this agony anymore. Please let him come to our houses. Yashoda could not know what to say. She was astonished by this behavior. On the one hand, they say, don't come. Now they are all begging for my child to come. And even as she is looking at the little Krishna, Bhagavan jumped down, and even before anybody could do anything, ran into their houses. Into each house he ran. And they all rushed behind him. They left Yashoda. They all ran behind him. And he went into one house and out, went to the next house and out. He brought so much joy, incomparable joy to everybody in Vrajabhumi. Yet another occasion, Bhagavan was playing with all of his friends outside. Krishna was playing with all of his friends outside. Appo, he suddenly picked up a handful of mud and told everybody, I'm going to eat mud. Declaration where I'm going to eat mud. All those people said, no, Krishna, you cannot eat mud. Those other boys. Krishna, Sridama or Paya. Sridama chonna, Krishna, mandalan thingapadadra, don't eat mud. Why not? Why not? Krishna asked, why not? The boy doesn't know. Because. Children have a most powerful answer when you ask a question. Because. Why because means? Because. No needs mud. Well, I am going to eat. You wait and see. Boys all crowded around him. Krishna, don't eat mud. We will tell your amma if you eat mud. We will tell your mother. You think I'm scared? Go and tell her if you want. Krishna, I'll really go and tell her. Sridama, go and tell. Go on. What are you waiting for? Sridama took off and Auntie Yashoda auntie is eating, Krishna is eating mud. She's doing some work in the kitchen. Krishna is eating mud, and she dropped the vessel she was holding, rushed out, caught hold of Sridama, what did you say? He's eating mud, what for? Auntie, I told him not to eat mud. He said, no, I will eat mud. I said, I will tell you. He said, so what? I am not afraid. Oh, is that what he said? We will see about it. Actually, Yashoda came. And as soon as she came out, there was Krishna sitting there, surrounded by all the other boys, a handful of mud in his hand, and cheeks bulging out as though he's already eaten a handful. Circumstantial evidence. As though he's eaten. You naughty boy, what are you doing? Will anybody eat mud? Panic stricken because, Vrindavan mud, Gokula, he put it into his mouth. So she immediately dusted the mud from his hand, and she saw, obviously he's holding a big lump of mud. She dusted his hand with the saris. She took her sari and wiped his palms, chastising him all the while. What am I going to do with you? As though there is not enough to eat at home. You go to everybody's house to steal. Then you eat the mud that is there in the streets. What did I ever do to have you as my son? There is no end of trouble that you give it to me. Open your mouth and spit the mud out. Don't tell me you have already swallowed it. You, Subala, Rama, go get the doctor. What am I going to do with this fellow? Bhagavane, protect my child. Yashoda is saying, open your mouth, spit the mud out, spit the mud. This fellow, I have not eaten any mud. If you have not eaten mud, you should say, I have not eaten any mud. Clear. Instead of saying very clearly, I have not eaten any mud, I have not eaten any mud. Then why are you speaking like this? Open your mouth. Open your mouth, let me see whether you are eating mud. Even Chonnan, Naham Bhakshitavanamba sarve mitya vishamsinaha yadi satya giristarha samaksham pashyame mukham. Jagadguru Leela Krishna. With all the fun and frolic, he is also the world teacher. Bhagavan says, Ma, I have not eaten. Everybody is lying. Na aham bhakshitavan. I have not eaten. Everybody is lying. If you want to see the truth, then look at my mouth. These are the words of Krishna. Bhagavata, apadiye translation. I have not eaten. Everyone is lying. If you want the truth, look at my mouth. What is the meaning? I, the Atma, does not eat. I, the Atma, does not do anything. I, the Atma, does not eat anything. I simply remains. Everybody is telling the lies. Now all this is Maya, all this is false. If you want the truth, look at my mouth. What is his mouth? Upanishad is his mouth. Vedas are his mouth. And the mouth la enna varudunna upadesham comes out from that mouth. Ataparunu solram. Bhagavan is saying, look at my mouth, which is the truth. Krishna the boy, Krishna the body pati inge pechilla. Atma swarupanana Krishnan I have not eaten solram. Naham bhakshitavanamba sarve mitya vishamsinaha. In that case, open your mouth na. Open your mouth na. He opened his mouth. And when he opened his mouth, what did she see inside that mouth? She wanted to see if there was a small clod of mud inside. Instead, she saw within that open mouth of hers the entire universe made up of moving and unmoving entities, the skies, the waters, the earth with its mountains and oceans, the wind, the lightning, the moon, the stars, the heavens, all the luminaries of the heavens, water, fire, sky, the deities presiding over, all the indriyas, the mind, the elements that are formed from the objects of the senses, the gunas of Prakriti, Swabhava, Kala, Jiva, Karma, Ellam Bhagaralam. She is seeing everything inside it. Inside that big universe, there is a Vrajabhumi. Inside that Vrajabhumi, there is a Krishna. Inside that Krishna's mouth, there is the entire universe, inside which there is Vrajabhumi, inside which there is a Krishna, inside whose mouth is the entire universe, inside which there is a Vrajabhumi, inside which an abdiye or endless cycle. Adha abdi paakarao Yashode. What is this am I seeing? What am I seeing? Kim स्वप्नयेतदुत देव माया किं वा मदीयो बत बुद्धिमोह अतो अमुष्यैव ममार्भकस्य यः कश्चन उत्पत्तिक आत्मयोगः अतो यतावन्न वितर्क गोचरम् चेतो मन कर्म वचो विरंजसा यदाश्रयं येन यतः प्रतीयते सुदुर्विभाव्यं प्रणतास्मि तत्पदम् अहं ममासौ पतिरेष मे सुतो व्रजेश्वरस्याखिल वित्तपासति गोपश्च गोपाः सगगोदनाश्च मे यन्माययेतं कुमति समे गतिः. Looking at that scene, Yashoda was teetering at the very edge of self-realization. And now, looking at it, she says, is this a dream? Is this a Maya? Nenu Yashoda Tano. Am I Yashoda? Is this my child boy Krishna? Am I Nandagopa's wife? Am I the queen of this Vraja? What is going on here? Is this the Yoga Maya of this child? Is this the child showing his glory? I salute this supreme being from whom all of this has come out, who is a puzzle to one's mind, body and intellect. Deluded by his Maya, aham mamasau patiresha me suto. I'm thinking, I'm Yashoda, this is my husband Nandagopa, this is my son. I and mine has come to me in the form of delusion, but this child is my refuge. I surrender to this child. She decided to surrender to Krishna, seeing the truth revealed in front of her. Seeing everything in him and him in everything in Bhagavan Cholinde Irpan. Again and again in the Gita and in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavan says, see me in everything, see everything in me. See me in everything, see everything in me. Adane paatha. Everything was inside him. He was in everything. Everything was once again inside him. He was in everything. Everything was once again inside. Ellam is inside. Including Yashoda, she is inside Krishna's mouth. Partha, what is this? As she is contemplating, almost on the verge of getting that jnanam. Appo, what happened? Bhagavan did not want that to happen. Adanala, the next instant, Bhagavan once again brought his Maya over her, climbing onto her lap, hugging her, planting kisses upon kisses on her cheek. He made her get into that Maya, my child. The same Brahman that the Upanishad and the Vedas are finding so hard to describe, despite them being endless. The same Brahman happily enjoyed the embrace of the cowherd woman who thought of herself to be his mother. Bhagavan almost showed the truth but restricted it. Why not? If she had shown the truth, she would be sitting in Samadhi. Who will love me? Who will cuddle me? Who will give me milk? Who will play with me? I will give jnana later. What is the hurry? Brahman is Brahman. Whether it is Saguna Brahman or Nirguna Brahman, Brahman is Brahman. Here I am with form, with names, with attributes. You enjoy this Brahman. When it is time, I will give you that Brahman. Both Brahman are the same Brahman. Is Krishna different? Is the Bhagavata Krishna different? And the Upanishadic Brahman different? Anda Krishna dane in the Brahman dane anda Krishna. That Brahman may make us fall asleep when we listen to it. This Krishna will not make us fall asleep. When we listen to stories about this Krishna, we are filled with joy, we are filled with delight. We seem to understand it. Really, we don't understand anything. It appears as though we are understanding, but more than understanding, Ananda is our direct experience. We are enjoying listening to Krishna Katha. When you listen to Krishna Katha, there is no need to understand any tattvam. Anandam is there in the heart. Krishna sandoshama irukku. If some other child does all these things, we won't feel so happy. Isn't it? Some other child, one of the children are here. The child went to that house and stole. Can't you train your child properly? We will say. Any other child stealing will be frowned upon. Nobody will laugh like this when some other childs are getting up to mischief. This child alone, even after 5,000 years, holds such a charm that repeatedly, again and again, this Krishna Charitram alone, we have heard so many times, each time the same stories, we can't invent new stories, but the same stories are still filled with so much charm, so much delight, so much joy, so much happiness, whether we are young or old. Adan Krishna. இப்படி ஒரு கண்ணனா இப்படி ஒரு கிருஷ்ணனா அப்படிங்கும்பொழுது Parikshit is so in bliss listening to the story, Shuka is in bliss telling the story. Appo சொல்றா, tell me more ங்கறச்ச, I will tell you one more story which you will really love அப்படினார். You will really love this story அப்படின்னு Shukar சொன்னார். As though he is not loving all the other stories. Tell me please அப்படின்னு உட்கார்ந்துக்க அவர் சொன்னார். Early morning, little Krishna was still asleep. Yashodamma got up in the morning. Ekada grihadasishu yashodanandagehini karmantaraniyuktasu nirmamanta swayam dhadi yani hi gitani tadbala charitani cha dadirnirmanthana katane kale smaranti tanyagayata. Early one morning, when Krishna was still sleeping, having assigned different duties to all the maid servants in the house, Yashoda began to churn butter for Krishna. And the vela matra she will do it for herself. All the other work she gave to others. Other servants can do wash the clothes, hang the clothes, sweep the house, others. Making butter for Krishna matra she will do it. In a Krishna. Adhanala she was doing that job on her own. And while she was doing it, what was she doing? Yani yani hi gitani. All the songs that had been composed on her child. Little fellow, already so many songs have been composed up away. All recounting his various leelas, adallam thinking about that, singing, humming that to herself, she's churning. Eppadi churn pandranna? Govinda Madhava Gopala Keshava. Pot is there. There is a churning rod and the rope is there. The aati pananum illaya. The churning is done. Adanala Govinda Madhava Gopala Keshava Jayananda Mukunda Nanda Govinda Radhe Gopala Giridhari Jaya Radhe Gopala Ganashama Shama Jai Jai Sai Gopala Jayananda Mukunda Nanda Govinda Radhe Gopala. Appadana chanting maradana irukku. The song itself is like as though you are chanting. Apadiya she is chanting. Singing happily, thinking about her son. Appo this fellow, Shuka is so lost in the scene that is describing the whole scene. A silken cloth around her heavy hips. Yashoda was a bit. Yashoda was not medium waisted. Couple of reasons. One, she was already touching middle age. Krishna was born late. Generally, when middle age, how do you know middle age? Middle section will be a bit. That's middle age. The mid section, if it keeps growing, you are reaching middle age. Not only that, avulukku occupational hazard vera. She was dealing with butter, curds, ghee, adella chaapdu adum mudiyaitta. So ipdi irpavo. Yashoda Mappa. Koncham apdi dhaan. Another virtual. Prutu katitate nu solra, konjam periya hips nu solra. Silken cloth was around her hips, large hips encircled by a girdle. And as she was churning, bracelets and ear ornaments are moving with the exertion of the churning. The ankle bracelets are going like this, earrings are going like this. She removed some of those bracelets because they'll make noise and wake the child up. She's removing all of those. Her face is already filled with perspiration. When thin people do activity, they don't perspire as much as slightly generous people. And she had flowers on her hair. The flowers are also falling off because of the way she was, churning faster and faster. When the butter is going to come, she has to churn faster and faster. This was the picture of Yashoda as she was churning. This is what is important. In 3 days, 4 days, Parikshit is going to pass away. What is important is that Parikshit is going to die. Yashoda's description, who else to describe but Yashodamma, who has got this opportunity to be with Krishna. Adanala Shuka takes that time to describe Yashodamma to Krishna, Shri Parikshit. Only with Krishna we can dare to say the words that Shuka is going to say. With other avatars, even Shuka cannot say. Tam stanya kama asadya matantim jananim harihi. Stanya kamahan or vartha potar. Kamahan, one who has desire in artham. Desiring to drink milk. Can the word desiring be appropriately used with God? God, Rama is where Kama cannot be, Rama is where Kama cannot be. No. Adala Ramanda, with Krishna it can be there. With Krishna's Tanya Kama. He wanted to drink, he had the desire to drink the milk. Adanal he came to Yashodama. He came there, Grihitva Dadimanthan. He caught hold of the churning rod. Earlier, he went under the churning rod to help the churning happen properly in Kurma Avataram, Samudra Manthanam. In Dadhimantana Velayala, what did Bhagavan do? He went and caught hold of that churning rod and stopped it because he doesn't care so much about this butter. He wants Yashoda's milk more. Stopped it and said, I'm hungry. Yashoda's heart was filled with so much of prema. She lifted this child up, seated him on his lap and started to suckle him, breastfeed him. And as she was halfway through this action, she had kept a pot of milk on the boil on the stove, and that was boiling over. So in order to save that milk, otherwise it will all boil over, she quickly placed the child down, ran into the kitchen to get the milk off the stove. Avladhan. Sanjata kopaha. When Bhagavan had been kept like that, Atriptam utsrujya. Bhagavan who was not satisfied. Already Shuka is crossing, testing the boundaries. First time he said, Bhagavan with the desire. Bhagavan proudly says, I had no desire, I have no desire, I have no desire. Bhagavan. I have no desire, I have no desire. Avapta sarva kaman. I have no desire, akamahan. Shuka says, this fellow had desire for milk. Now, Bhagavan always says, I am always content. He says, uncontent as he was, dissatisfied as he was left unsatisfied, so he became angry. Kamat sanjayate krodaha. Only with Krishna we can take such liberties. Krishna also likes when he is accused of these things. Krishna, you have desire. Krishna, you have anger. Krishna, you have lobha, greed. Bhagavan says, yes, yes, yes. Yes, I also desire the love of my devotees. I also become angry if I cannot get that love. I also am greedy for their prema. Bhagavan says. Kamam, krodam, lobam, moham, madam, matsaryam, yellam irukku. Krishna is filled with all these kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Kamana desire, he desires prema. Krodhana anger, he is angry when he cannot get that prema. Lobhana greed, he is very greedy for that prema. He will not share it with anybody. Moha abdina, he is completely infatuated with us. Madam abdina, he is very proud of us. My boys, abdimbar Swami, very proud of us. Matsaryamna, jealousy, he is very jealous of all the other attractions that we have. Ours is a jealous and possessive God. 6 enemies, Bhagavan has got all of them in good measure in him, but only with respect to us. With respect to us, he's got all of it. Therefore, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa would say, you also have all of these with respect to him. Have kama for him. Have krodha if he doesn't look at you or come to you. Be greedy for him. Be proud of him. He said, turn all these so-called enemies also towards Bhagavan, they will become blessings. Bhagavan became angry. Adanale, enna pannan appadina, he took a stone that was there nearby. Dadimantana bhajanam. And the Dadimantana bhajanam irke, Ashmana. He took a stone nearby and broke the pot which she was churning. The pot that she had been churning from, he broke that pot. Butter and curd spilt everywhere. Adhikaparam, he took a lump of butter. He broke the churning pot, took some butter. And with make-believe tears, Mrishashru, make-believe tears, fake tears. With fake tears in his eyes, with a pot of butter in his hand nevertheless, he ran outside the house, went out into the garden, in the backyard. There was an upturned mortar there. He clambered onto that mortar and he was eating that butter, crying. Shukar Chodra Shuka is describing everything. If he's crying, he should have gone out crying. But he made sure, looked around, found some butter, picked that butter up, and he went outside. Went and sat outside. And as though crying, eating. As though crying, eating. Ango korangu vera ukkandrukku. There's a monkey there. Monkey vandu ipdi thangiyum. Yen oy aludinde irukir. Pona avadarathila aludhathu poradha. Thirupi alanuma abingiradhu monkey. Monkey sitting there looking, why are you still crying? Had you not had your fill crying in your last avatar, I sat and pressed your feet, remember? Monkey sitting there by his feet. Avar sonnar, this is not real crying. Here, have some butter. So giving some butter to the monkey, ne kurva, no kurva. Ne kurva, no kurva. One mouth for me, one mouth for you. One mouth for me, one mouth for you. He is sharing his butter with the monkey. அதுலேயுமே பகவான் இஸ் ஜெனரஸ் தான் பாவம். ஹி டசன்ட் ஈட் அலோன். மங்கியோட சேர்ந்து சாப்பிட கூடியிருந்து குளிர்ந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய். குலூகலாங்கிரே ருபரி வஸ்திதம் மர்க்காய காமம் தததம் ஷிச்சிஸ்திதம் அப்படின்னு ஈட்டிங் தட் பட்டர். அட் த சேம் டைம் சொல்கிறார் இங்கே, சௌரிய விஷங்கித ஈக்ஷணம், திருட்டு பார்வைன்னு சொல்லுவா இல்லையா, சௌரிய விஷங்கித ஈக்ஷணம். Eyes are roaming here and there, very stealthily looking, is Amma coming, is Yashodamma coming, it's Yashodamma coming. So on the one hand, he's looking at the monkey, giving some butter to the monkey, eating some for himself, looking to see if Yashodamma is coming and pretending to cry. All of this was going on. Yashoda took the milk from the stuff, came back to this room, and what was there in a scene of devastation, disaster, though catastrophe வந்துட்டு போற மாதிரி இருக்கு. Broken pot, curd, milk spilt everywhere. எல்லாம் ஒரே ரணகலம். And small little footprints leading out in white. The butter நின்று போகிறது. In spite of herself, she just burst out laughing. She laughed. The fellow Kane, this fellow. But today I have to teach him a lesson. He can't go on like this. He has to learn. He's growing up. He has to know that I also have work. He can't become so angry because I stopped halfway giving milk to him. Today I'm going to teach him a lesson. She took the churning rod in her hand. Stick. She took the stick in her hand. And slowly, shanaihi, very cautiously, stealthily, she came from behind to catch hold of this fellow. This fellow is already waiting for her to come. He knows. அத்தி அஷ்டிமு நான் கையில் குச்சியோட வரா. She seeing him come with a stick. அதனால பார்த்தான், when he saw her coming in this form with a stick in her hand, உடனே what did he do now? He jumped down from the mortar. Whatever remaining butter was there in his hand, he applied it all over his body to make sure if she catches him, he is very slippery and can escape. ஓடினான் ஒரு ஓட்டம். He ran into the streets. தாமாத்த யஷ்டிம் பிரசமீக்ஷ்ய சத்வரஸ்ததோ அவருஹ்ய உபசசார பீதவத். As though afraid, he ran. கோப்யன்வதாவன்ன யமாப யோகினாம் க்ஷமம் பிரவேஷ்டும் தபசேரிதம் மனஹா. Shuka says, he ran and she chased him whom even the great yogis failed to reach despite doing tapasya. To catch him, she ran. எப்படி ஓடுறாளான்னா, பிருஹத் சலத் ஸ்ரோணி பராக்ராந்த கதிஹி. சுகர் சொல்றார், because of her huge body, she couldn't keep up with the pace. இவன் ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக ஓடுறான். he is running fast. குட்டி லெக்ஸில் he is running. அவள் புஸ் புஸ்ன்னு வரா பின்னாடி. like a steam engine, she is coming from behind. சத்தம் போடு. Huffing and panting, flowers falling everywhere. Perspiring profusely. Already she was exerted by this churning. More so she is running. இவன் ஓடுறான். அதுக்குள்ளே என்னாச்சு அப்படின்னா, all the people of Raja saw, they were all getting up in the morning going about their deeds இல்லையா. பார்த்தா Krishna is running and Yashoda is chasing. எல்லாம் வெளில வந்து நிறுத்துக்கள். all the ladies stood on one side, all the men stood on one side, all the boys, கிருஷ்ணனோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காள், அவெல்லாம் நின்றுட்டான். டே ஓடுறா ரன் கிருஷ்ணா ரன் அப்படிங்க எல்லாம் என்கரேஜ் பண்ணுறது. எல்லாம் சொல்கிறது, नटवर कृष्णा राधे नंदलाला, नटवर कृष्णा राधे नंदलाला, हरे माधवा हरे गोपिका लोला, हरे माधवा हरे Lola, Krishna Gana Gana Neela, Krishna Gokula Bala, Krishna Gana Gana Neela, Krishna Gokula Bala, Hare Madhava Hare Gopika Lola, Hare Madhava Hare Gopika Lola, Run Run Krishna, Run Run Krishna, Run 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 Run, Run Krishna Run, அப்படின்னு எல்லாரும் பாட, chasing him, Yashoda ran. Apo, how Yashoda running now with a stick in her hand, she is saying, you fellow, you rascal, badwa payale, when I catch you, come here to me. With the stick she is calling. Oh, why will he come? And she has got a stick in her hand and say, come here to me. So finding that out, she threw the stick. She threw the stick and huffing and puffing as she was running, he looked at her and took pity on her. Looking at his mother running like this, everybody laughing at her, Bhagavan could not bear it. Partharam, abdiye he stood. As though arrested, as though he could not move an inch, as though immobilized, Bhagavan stood until Yashoda came running to catch hold of him. He was caught by Yashoda by the hand and shoulder. Abdi kaiyila pudichalam Yashoda. Is it possible to catch him except if he stops and allows us to catch him? She threw the stick, but she still said to him, I'm not going to beat you, but I'm going to teach you a lesson nevertheless. Your mischief is going too much. So today, I'm going to teach you a lesson. And only she took him and she decided to tie him up to a mortar, the mortar, very mortar upon which he was sitting. She said, I will tie you up to this mortar. Iyesha kilam tam baddhum damna dvirya kovida. Virya kovidana, not knowing who he was, she wanted to tie him up. Shukarga purukkala, Shuka is not able to bear it. Shuka is saying, Na chantar na bahiryasya na purvam na pi chaparam purva param bahischantar jagato yo jagatchaya tam matvatmajam avyaktam martyalingyam adokshajam gopiko lukale damna bhabanda prakritam yatha taddama badhyamanasya svarbhakasya kritagasaha dvayangulo namut avuttena sandhadenyacha gopika. He who has got neither inside nor outside, he who has got neither beginning nor end, who is before all beginnings, before, after all afters, who is inside all insides and outside all outsides, such a Krishna, she wanted to tie up to the mortar. This Brahman, she wanted to tie up to the mortar. Is it possible? Abdinu keta. Kanninun shirtam vinal katunna panniya perumayan yennapan. Is it possible to tie him up? It depends on who is tying him up. This Brahman that has got neither inside nor outside, who is inside all insides and outside all outsides, who has got neither beginning nor after, who is before all beginnings and after all endings, can he be tied up? Depends on who is attempting to do so. If it is Yashoda, she can. If it is Sahadeva, he can. Others, Patudai adiyavar keliyaval pirargalukariya vittagan. For those who have got that simple affection to him, attachment to him, he is easily tied up by them. Those who have got that love, he is easily tied up by them. One Swami was in the interview room with some boys. And they were talking, and bhajans had started. Swami had to go for bhajans, but these boys were looking at Swami with so much love that Swami couldn't get up and go. Swami looked at them and said, "Hey boys, I have to go, please understand, I have to go for bhajan, so many devotees are waiting for me, let me go, let me go. Abdina Swami had to plead with the boys to let him go. They were not holding him physically. The cords of love from their heart were enough. Swami had to plead, you understand, don't be selfish, others are also there, so many devotees have come from so far away, I have to go and give darshan, let me go. Abdina Swami had to plead. On yet another occasion, when Swami was in Vrindavan and was returning to Prashanti, Swami got into the car and car moved from Trai. Boys were all sad to see Swami go. A few boys were very, very sad to see Swami go. The love that they had for Swami was so much that they sat there. Even after Swami went away, they didn't leave that garden of Trai. They sat there, lost in thoughts of him, crying, "Oh Swami, when will I see you again? When will we see you again, Swami?" The car that had gone out of Vrindavan, when in those days Gokulam used to be there in Vrindavan, when it had gone past Gokulam, car stopped. Car stopped. And no matter what they tried, the car would not start. Suddenly the car stopped. The Swami's driver did not know what to do. Swami, everything was checked, Swami, I don't know why the car stopped. Swami said, turn it around. And he started to turn it around towards back to Vrindavan, taking a U-turn, the car started and came back. And drove back, and Swami drove it back and came back to Vrindavan. And as soon as he came back, these boys were crying there. They looked up, Swami's car rolling in. Everybody starts rushing inside. Swami's come back again. As he got out of the car, he looked at them. Who did it? Who did it? Which of you did it? Which of you stopped my car? Which of you stopped my car? And then he said, anyway, I forgot my keys. That's why I came back. I forgot my key. That's why I came back. He went inside, took the key, spent some more time with the boys, consoled them, pacified them, and then got into his car. If you think God's will is supreme, think again. Bhakti is even more supreme than God's will. Prema is even more supreme than God's will. He may have Vajra Sankalpa, our Prema can break that Vajram also. Bhagavan may have this firm determination to go to Prati from Vrindavan, but a few devotees can stop him from doing it. They can make him change his mind also. Prabhu ko niyam badalte dekha, प्रबल प्रेम के पाले पढ़कर. When he gets into the clutches of love, Bhagavan changes even the rules of the world, if he needs to. So that Brahman, that can never be tied up, was tied up by Yashodamma. Even then it was not easy for her. She took one piece of rope to tie him up, it was not enough. So she brought another piece and tried longer piece, was not enough. 2 inches short. 2 inches short. Innonu kondu vanda 2 inches short. Innonu kondu vanda 2 inches short. Innonu kondu vanda 2 inches short. Everything was 2 inches short. 2 inches, ivada 2 angulam short. So she bound all these ropes together. Even then it was 2 inches short. How can that be? Defying all logic. Karshila Bharata, she gave up, almost on the verge of giving up. Bhagavan smiled and suddenly she was able to tie him up. He allowed himself to be tied up by Yashoda for her prema. Ye khada, stay here. She walked away. Leaving him outside, tied to the mortar, Yashoda walked away. Parikshit is listening to the story. Children, how is this possible? All along we think of him as the Supreme Lord, the Master of us all, the Controller, the Sovereign, God of Gods, Lord of Lords, and you are saying he got tied up by Yashodana. How do I make sense of it? What did that woman do? How did she gain such an extraordinary or grace? What did she do to get this grace? Yenatavam Shaidanai Yenatavam Shaidanai Yashoda Yenatavam Shaidanai Yashoda Yengum Nirai Parabrahmam Amma Elrajaika Yennatavam Shaidanai Yashoda Yengum Nirai Parabrahmam அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை. ஈரேழு புவனங்கள் படைத்தவனை, ஈரேழு புவனங்கள் படைத்தவனை கையில் ஏந்தி ஷீராட்டி பாலூட்டி தாலாட்ட. जो अच्युतानंद जो जो मुकुंद, जो अच्युतानंद जो जो मुकुंद, रावे परमानंद राम गोविंद, जो अच्युतानंद जो जो मुकुंद, जो जो கையில் ஏந்தி ஷிராட்டி பாலூட்டி தாலாட்ட. என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா. பிரமனும் இந்திரனோ மனதில் பொறாமை கொள்ள, பிரமனும் இந்திரனும் மனதில் பொறாமை கொள்ள, உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்பொத்தி கெஞ்ச வைத்தாய் கண்ணனை. உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்பொத்தி கெஞ்ச வைத்தாய் கண்ணனை. உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்பொத்தி கெஞ்ச வைத்தாய் தாயே என்ன தவம் செய்தனை. சனகாதியர் தவ யோகம் செய்து, சனகாதியர் தவ யோகம் செய்து வருந்தி சாதித்ததை புனிதமாதே எளிதில் பெற என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா. எங்கும் நிறை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா. யசோதா என்ன தவம் செய்தனை. What tapas did Yashoda do? What tapas did Yashoda do that the omnipresent Brahman should call out in despair, Amma, Amma, come and release me. He is calling out, what tapasya did you do, Yashoda? He created 2 times 7, 14 worlds he created. And you lifted him up in your hands. You bathed him, you fed him, you dressed him, and then you put him to sleep. What tapasya did you do, Yashoda? Brahma and Indra were struck with envy looking at the way in which you have tied him up to a master. Made him close his mouth like this and beg you, Ma, I won't do it again. I will be chamatha from now on. I will be good. Release me, please. Let me be. Leave me. Let me. Release me. Abadini is begging. You know what tapasya did you do to make the Supreme Lord beg? That which the Sanat Kumaras attained with so much difficulty after so much tapasya, That same thing, O Divine Mother, you have got it so easily. What did you do? What tapasya did you do? What tapasya did you do? Na kehka. Parikshit asked Shuka. Shukar chul raha hai. Shuka says, when Brahma went up to the ocean of milk and prayed to the Lord to relieve the sorrows of Mother Earth, Appo, Bhagavan said he will be born, he will incarnate. All the Devas were asked to be incarnated, they all were asked to go and be born. But each one said, I will be a king, I will be a prince, I will be this, I will be that, and ellarum chonnalam. Each one chose their role. But there was a couple, they were Vasus. The leader of the Vasu called Drona, and his wife was Dhara. This Drona and Dhara came to Brahma and they said, Lord, we are willing to go and be born upon this earth in any capacity to aid Bhagavan's mission. But before we go, we ask one boon from you. What? What do you want? If you do this much for us, we will go. Anything we can, any form we are willing to adopt. What do you want? Avachonna Bhakti syat parama loke. Give us Parama Bhakti to Bhagavan. That is all we want. Supreme Bhakti we want to Bhagavan. We don't want anything other than the Supreme Bhakti. We are willing to be dogs and cats for him to play with if need be. We are not specific about what incarnation, what birth, what role we should have. We are willing to be anything. Anal, let Bhakti be there. Brahma said, Tathastu, you will have Bhakti, because nobody came and asked him that. Everybody came and said, I will be a king, I will be an important person, I will be this, I will be that. Drona and Dhara alone came and said, give us supreme bhakti, we will do anything for him, be any role for him, just give us supreme bhakti. Brahma said yes. Bhagavan noted it and said, any role? In that case, I will give you the role of being my parents. I will give you the role of lifting me up in your hands, of bathing me, of dressing me, of singing a lullaby to me, of feeding me, of playing with me, sleeping by my side with your arms around me, and in the middle of the night I will turn around and with my little palms I will hold your cheek. Think of Yashoda's fortune, Leah. Bhagavan, Kutti Bhagavan. Now we are hoping to get one glimpse from him. We are hoping to be touched by him once. We are hoping to sneak one Pada Namaskar from him. Abdingra same Bhagavan will climb on to Yashodamma, Padi Tukatala. As she is sleeping, he will clamber onto her and sleep. She will hold him so that he doesn't fall off. Idena pannu kai kutti kaiya kunja kaiya small palms vechinu mudi thadavi kodukkum. He will, caress her cheeks. Can you imagine this? What? How did she get it? Did she do tapasya? The song says, what tapasya did you do? Yashoda did not do any tapasya. No tapasya. Then what? Tannizhappu. Lack of identity. We will be anything. We don't want to be this or that. We don't want to achieve this and that in our life. We will be anything. All we want is bhakti. All we want is not just bhakti. Parama bhakti syat. That supreme devotion. What is supreme devotion? So devotion becomes supreme if we are not there. We are not there. He alone is there. That's supreme bhakti. Ada kekara, Drona and Dhara ask for that supreme bhakti. That is the great tavam that was done by our Yashodamma. Although Devaki was the biological mother of Krishna, the joy of bringing him up, they only asked for a son like you. They did a tapasya. Devaki did tapasya and she said, I want a son like you. Bhagavan said, already you will have a son, but I won't stay with you. Vamanavataratali mein Bhagavan came and left immediately. And Shri Krishna Avataratala, Bhagavan grew up. In the Bala Leela, we don't even see in Ramayanam, we do not see any Bala Leela like this. Rama was born, then went off to Gurukulam. Krishna, oru Gurukulam polo homeschooling da. After he went to Devaki, he went to school. Advarikam he did not go to school. played with Yashoda, played with Nandagopa, spent all the time with them, gave them joy, so much joy that there are no more words to describe the intensity, the quantity or the quality of the joy that they enjoyed. What is it called? Anandam nu vartha irukku. That is the only word we have, therefore we use that word. But what they enjoyed, even that one word is not enough. Appadi oru anandam. Why abdinna? Because they said, Bhakti syat Jatayornau Mahadeve Bhuvi Vishveshware Harau Bhakti Syat Paramaloke Yayanjo Durgatim Taret. Because of this, Bhagavan was loved by them more than by any Gopa or Gopi in Gokula anu solluta. Appadi oru prema they were able to give Bhagavan. Bhagavan has been tied to the master. Yashodamma wanted him to stay like that for a while, so we have to give respect to Yashoda's words. Adanala we will let that fellow remain tied up to the mortar at least until 5:30. Apara we will come and release him. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam